Incredible day, family. What's going on, YPM? I missed y'all, man. Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. Welcome to the Your Perspective Matters podcast. We are a personal growth podcast where we focus on everything personal growth. And I truly believe that the best way to be able to enact change or to enact personal growth is facing those uncomfortable topics, right? Facing your uncomfortable situations because my favorite quote, uncomfortability breeds growth. If you cannot face the uncomfortable, there's no growing, right? Man, but 2023 has been a very interesting year. Very interesting, man. A lot of things have been revealed within myself um that I had to face. Like um I I believe I needed to be challenged in so many different realms and levels, or not even so many realms, but more so I needed to consistently be challenged. Like I needed a coach, or I needed somebody that's just going to ask me these uncomfortable topics and situations because I had to do it myself. And I don't know about you guys, but I know for sure it is challenging to just be that for yourself. And I did my best, right? That's the one thing that you can do as long as you do your best, and your best looks different every day, you know? But before I really get into everything, I want to go with the first segment on today. Is the icebreaker, right? So the icebreaker is, what did I conquer today? What did I conquer today? Um, I want to say I conquered doing this episode because I have not recorded in quite a bit, like within like the last month and a half, almost 2 months. And I had a consistent flow going, and then just boom, you know. So for me to be able to be doing this, like I'm not even home. I'm in a like a warehouse area setting kind of thing. But the lighting is hitting so I'm good. You know, I'm loving it so far. So here we are, right? Man. But going on topic, I want to talk about 2024, right? But let's wait. Well, before we let me lay it out, right? 2023 was a challenging year because in several lanes I've needed help, and multiple times I've even had to ask for money, which was not like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very independent person. So when it comes to being independent, you automatically come with that sense of pride that you can do it yourself, and you don't, it's not that you don't need anybody else, but you prefer to just do it. Like, if I have the capability of doing it, I'm going to do it. I ain't going to worry about you doing it, because nobody's going to do or want it as bad as you do. So that's just me, right? And I make it happen all the time, right? By the grace of God. But this year, 2023, was a year where I had to ask several different times. And it was just so hard. I was like, man, this is just not, this is not it. Like, it's not a good feeling when you really, like, I'm a humble person, but like, it humbled me a lot every time, where I just had to say, you know what, I'm gonna put my pride to the side. Yo, hey, do you have such and such? Do you have such and such? Like, it's not like I had to do it once or twice. Like, I had to do it multiple times. Like, I needed my rent paid quite a few times. And it's only because there were parts where it was my fault because I fell short, and then there were parts where the unexpected happened with the car, so I couldn't make the income that I wanted to make for the week. So that delayed me on a lot of things. But this is why it's important to have multiple streams of income, right? But make sure they're streaming. Make sure you're actually getting revenue from the other streams, right? And I don't want to go on branding, but I think the most effective way to create streams of income is creating a brand and building streams from there, right? Creating a brand and building streams from there. Um, so I got the podcast going. I'm doing the podcast, and I'm also creating uh, uh, a private rental and transportation business, right? So those two have been like very challenging. And then it took me forever to get the ISBN number for my book. And I was able to only buy one, which I hated, but it was cool, you know. It was as long as I got it out the way. So now definitely look for my revamped book of my first version of the first book. Is just I created a second version because I wanted my book to be taken more seriously because there's instruction in it. And I've told people how to read my book because there's a way that you got to read it. Um, but most people don't do it that way. So you have to really instruct, like give them the instructions in the book, let them read that and go back and refer back to it. Like, and I think I should have added something like that every page or whatever, but it's cool. Um, but yeah, so that's coming out very, very soon. Um, within, very soon, right? Like yesterday. So, that's something to look forward to. But 2023, not even just juggling, but trying to manage all three of them to get off the ground, it was very challenging. And it still is, So this year of 2024 has to do a lot with execution, which brings me to my topic. Um, I like every year is like you call it like you name it a kind of year, right? Last year was the year of the Jordan, right? The year of the Jordan is where you dominate in your lane, right? So you just it's fourth quarter all year. And if you do not dominate in your space, I believe that's going to set you back within the next year or two, right? The beautiful thing is that this year, I'm calling it the year of the Kobe, right? And one of the things that Kobe did, see, Jordan was a person that dominated the space. Kobe was a person that had absolute focus, right? Um, but I'm gonna talk less on focus today, and I'm gonna talk on consistency, right? He had extreme focus and extreme consistency. He was in the gym longer than most people, um, and for sure, more consistent than most. He was able to perfect certain shots, certain variations of the shots and layups and all these different things. And just studying the craft, like he studied it to a T. And I know this is going to be super debatable, but Kobe is the closest thing to Jordan. Jordan is the best player. Kobe is right there. If not, damn near better than Jordan. Like, they are. Jordan is really what set the tone. Not that there's no other great players. There's a lot of great players in the league. But Jordan was just the elite. Like, he was just super elite. Quote unquote is a different era, but we're not gonna get into basketball, right? Um, but yes, this is the year of of Kobe, which is absolute focus, consistency, and studying your craft. Like I want to get uncomfortable because that's something that I was doing before, right? Like I've studied entrepreneurship, and I'm still studying, right? It's not like it's you look at some stuff and that's it. No, there's a lot to do in entrepreneurship, in business ownership, in taxes and credit and all of that. But I've studied a lot where I know a lot. And like every time I have a conversation with somebody, I'm able to pour out. But it's just been recently where because I know a lot, see, oh man, this is going to be juicy, right? The thing is, when you start to know a lot, when you start to learn a lot, what happens is you get complacent where you're at. One of the quotes that hit me hard years after was the worst thing that could ever happen to somebody is if they gain a little bit of success. So what that means that okay, if I'm focused on winning the championship and I go and I win, um I make it all the way up into the the playoffs, quote unquote, right? What happens is many times people think you made it. You arrived, right? And now you put in your mind subconsciously, hey, we made it to the playoffs. We about to take this thing. It's going to be lit. So you immediately start to fall off your game because you've had a certain amount of success. You've had the best record in season, but now playoffs is a whole different ballgame. Especially if you've never been here before, you gonna want to celebrate. You're gonna want to be like, this is it. Like this is where it's at. I'm locked in, but you're not really locked in. You're just more so celebrating too much mentally that you forget that the journey's not done. Right? The goal is not even hit yet. So then you get into the playoffs, and what happens is you lose first round, all because you were celebrating or too focused on that little bit of success. Your lineup was super easy. The people that you would have probably played would have been something where you could have been able to take the championship. But the problem is I was so focused on, or you're so focused on the that success, and that's what happened with me, right? Me knowing so much about entrepreneurship and business, and then me being able to pour out. I pour out so much into people that like, and this is information that people don't know. This is stuff I've studied throughout the years and been around the people. Like, I was having a conversation with one of my reoccurring passengers, reoccurring clients on today, and he was like, "Man, you did a podcast with somebody, and she's really about it in her business." I say, "Yeah, I'm connected to. I know of a lot of high level people that are not quote unquote famous, right? Like we're not looking to do famous. Like famous is played out. You want to be established and be of a valuable person, right? So because of me having that little bit of success, it has hindered my growth in 2023. That's no excuse. That's just me pointing the blame on myself that hey, if I wasn't so focused on a little bit of success, I could have been a lot further, right? Granted, there is the God's timing, right? There is, hey, God has me exactly where he wants me to be, right? But understanding that I could be a lot further along in his will if I continue to do the work. Because no matter what God has set for you, if you do not do the work, it will never happen. So this year is about me really studying the craft to the T and really executing. Like I learned some stuff last year, or I have access to a lot of information, and that's cool. 2023, gotcha. But 2024, it's going to be less speaking. It's going to be less, hey, this is what I'm doing. And this is going to be more of, hey, this is what I've done. Because I realize, and me being more transparent and uncomfortable, um, or vulnerable rather, is I don't have a track record. I can speak on a lot of things that I've done. I can speak on, okay, there's some people that I've impacted, but there's no way of tracking it. No way of tracking it. Like even my finances, like um I think that's one of the biggest things that you got to do, especially in finances, is how much do you make? And we could go by the salary that quote unquote, we get from our business, our companies or whatever, the company that you work for, they put you on a 50K salary, put you on a 32K salary. And that's cool, but what if you made way less than that? What if you made way more than that? The fact of the matter is you need to be able to track it. You need data. And this year I want to focus on data, right? Data in my uh data in who I speak to, data in where I how many podcast episodes I'm recording, or which episodes are this, which episodes are that, like being able to create analytics not only in the podcast space but in life, so you can be able to track some things accordingly. Because if you don't have the data, you won't, and you don't track it, then guess what? You're not able to find out where there's problems and where there's been improvement and where you've overseeded some goals. Because it could have been some celebrations going on where it's like, hey, you've overseeded everything that you wanted. Like you said you wanted this, but how do I fully track the numbers? How do I fully, I could say, hey, I did this, but to what caliber, you know? So I want to like what makes me uncomfortable is getting in rooms where people are talking about the numbers. They're talking about the numbers of everything, specifically like, okay, how much money did you make this year? How much did you lose? How much money was put in investments? How much money did you profit in investments? How much money has been made in the business? Is your business rising or falling financially? Like, it's a lot of these different things that I want to really focus on, and I think this is something that everybody should do. Right? If you're not going to do anything, you need to focus up. You need to really study your craft, and be able to be trackable. Like, I want to be able to go in rooms, right, where I could just say Google me. Oh, you can't find my podcast? Is all right, just Google me. Like that, like I want to do that. Yahoo, well, I don't know about Yahoo, but whatever. Like on any search engine or whatnot, hey, this is where I'm at. Like, follow me here. You know, I want to be able to consistently map out some business plans, right? Like I was playing this game. What is it called? Let me see. The game is called. It's like a business game that I like, right? It's called Outlets Rush, right? And they got some for food. They got another game for a hotel, right? And the premise of the game is um it gives you that sense of not urgency, it gives you that sense of being a business owner, right? So understanding, like, okay, you get into this mall and you need capital to start your business. So boom, you automatically have like a little bit of capital or whatever. So you go into the store, right? It's a sneaker store that they give you first, right? It's a fake Nike. I think it's called Nico or Nickel or something like that, something crazy. But so they give you the store, and then the first thing that happens, right, that we all face as entrepreneurs, right, if you're an entrepreneur, is you have to do everything yourself. So you need your cash register. Boom. You pay for the cash register. Then you need the table to put for the rack to put for the inventory. Boom. So you got the rack. Then you need the inventory. So now you got the storage room. You pay for the storage room in the thing, right? But in this case, it opens up before you have any employees or anything. So now once you get those three things, people start coming in. So now they waiting at the they're waiting at the area where you put your sneakers at, right? But no, the only worker is who? You. All right. So now you got to go back to the storage, get the amount of shoes, put it on a thing, and now you are able to now they pick it up and then they go to the cash register to pay for the sneaker. So now guess what? You're the inventory guy and you are the cash register. So then boom, you get the cash register. And now you're, taking money and then now inventory goes out again on the shelves. So guess what? You gotta restock. So you go into the storage room, get more sneakers, and it's just an ongoing process until you collect enough money to increase the shelves, right? And then increase, like put another table out or whatnot. And then now you get to hire your HR. And your HR department allows you to hire your staff, allows you to increase their skill of speed and increase their skill of capacity, meaning how much they can hold. So they start off slow and they start off holding maybe one shoe at a time. So they're walking super slow and just one shoe at a time, right? But what if you got 15 customers? Now, and it shows in the middle of the line, sometimes the customer gets very irate and they're frustrated, right? So now you got to talk to them, get them to calm down. Then you get them to calm down. Then you go back to the cash register and you got to check out more shoes. But then more shoes are people are waiting to get more shoes at the shelves. So you got to restock that. It's hell. Like, let me tell you, for the people that are focused in entrepreneurship and business ownership, it is hell, but it is worth it. It is worth it. I haven't even experienced all of the fruits of my labor. I promise you, but I know it is worth it. I know it is worth it. And the people that I've already impacted at the level that I'm at, I'm not even at a high level yet. That's the crazy part. That's the reason why I'm doing this podcast, because I want to impact in a different manner, like, or in a more consistent manner, rather, right? Because I'm coming in contact with people, but now I get to have you listen to me and pour out more valuable and be vulnerable and transparent with you in my life circumstances, which is so beautiful. So definitely for sure, focus up, man. Like, if you don't pick the lane that you want to go in and build on that. Like, if you know your purpose, it's easier to do that. If you don't know your purpose, it is still okay. Find the lane that you want to focus more in and build off of that. Study that. If you are a pets lover and you want to be a veterinarian or make your own pet shop or something like that, study the craft in that. If you are a podcaster, study the ins and outs of how to start a podcast, how to keep a podcast going, the growth of a podcast, how to monetize it, what equipment, and the problems that happen in podcasting. If you are a sports player, you're a basketball, football player, whatever, you want to be able to study the greatest. Who are the greatest to ever do it in your lane, right? In basketball, who's the greatest in there? In football, who's the greatest in there? But don't just look at just the greats there. Also look at college. Also look at high school. Right? Also look at middle school. There's things in all of those that you can take that are either common, right? They're either common or they are just some pointers that you can say, hey, even at middle school, I can use that and bring it to high school, or I can use that and bring it to college. I can use that to help me get into the league. You know, like that's how deep we have to study. We got to study the whole thing. The whole thing. Now, people, what's the word? I don't want to like curse on here, but people don't put in all their effort. They don't put in all they got into the craft. So they go and they get a little information, which leads to that little bit of success, and then they think they're good. And it's not. I promise you. It is another thing that we have to focus on, and got me a reality check is understanding that your lane changes. So what works now or what laws and things are implemented now changes over time. So for an example, right? I'm in the car space, so I'm like, cool, I want to be able to get me some cars and get the insurance and understand all of that good stuff. Now I know a lot of different plays, but I was on someone's live and he was expressing how a lot of things in the insurance space on a corporate on the business level changed. So what used to completely work before doesn't work to the same degree. So now you have to find like this person. He when he was expressing it, he took a $200,000 loss. You know, so you have to when you studying the craft, you cannot just think that it's just going to stay the same. Your lane of expertise or the lane that you want to become great in, it changes. So find out what are the changes before, and what are the changes that are happening right now. What are the possible changes that could happen in the future? If you don't, you'll never grow. If you don't, you'll be out of business in no time. If you don't, you'll be irrelevant very soon. Very soon. Like just imagine, um, what is it? I forgot the other. Just imagine you're the psychic company, and like you're locked in with the psychic. Everybody's so you're making tons of money and everything, and then the iPhone come out and it's touchscreen. Everybody like it, and you like, oh, they ain't got nothing on us. So then you keep doing the same thing with the psychic, but not understanding that number one, software changes, right? Software change depending on what it is every week to every month to every quarter of the year, right? So there's updates that need to happen, and then the interface and how everything is. People don't always want to do the psychic. I mean, the psychic was a vibe, but like people don't always is going to stay there. They're going to get bored after a while, which means that they're going to look for the next best thing. So guess what put you out of business? The iPhone. Like just imagine that and look at the iPhone. Has not a lot of variations to itself, but it's evolved tremendously. You know, if you just stay doing just psychic stuff, or just flip, boom, and flip back, nobody want to be. Nah, you do that. You want to type with one hand, or you want to, excuse me, you want to tap the screen, right? That's critical. So being able to evolve and adapt with your expertise, with your lane of where you're trying to go is very, very important. Another thing about it is, okay, cool. I got the information and I know what it is to do, but the hardest part, and I love my girl Sarah Jakes, right? She said in one of her sermons, she said the hardest part is not the planning and not the preparation, but the activation. Oh my god. Man, I took heck of notes on that one. But the hardest part, once you have all the information and everything, now you study it, you know exactly what to do it. That's the thing. Information is irrelevant if you never apply it. And sometimes part of applying the information is to give it out. If you're not going to do anything with it, share it with somebody else. Let them help them change their lives. Help them to become a better person. Help them to make a bag. Whatever it is. Whatever the change that could have happened in yours, it could probably happen in theirs and even 10 times greater. So don't be selfish with the information. Share it. But speaking with you, right, with me, my focus this year is to apply a lot of the information. I have everything that I need. Literally. I don't need to buy another course. I don't need to, go to another company or whatnot. And I've been getting a lot of people wanting me to be a part of different network marketing companies because I was a part of one before for quite some time. But my focus is to become not necessarily a network marketing platform, but becoming the platform. Like creating that. Like I don't just want to only attend conferences. I want to create my own conference. Like these are things that I aspire to do, and some people just don't get it. Oh man, some people just don't. Some people look at me like I'm the bad guy, or I'm stuck up. I'm just like, all the people that you are locked in with and you want to be like and you want to be in that space, I'm them. like like I'm not even trying to be cocky, but I'm extra confident in who I am and my capabilities and who's on my team. Like I am him. I am him. Like y'all, oh man. I need y'all to know I am him. I'm not focused on, like, we have to evolve at some point to go from being what is the word? From being follower to student. I was gonna say something else, right? But I was gonna say follower to leader, but no. You have to go from being a follower to a student. What does that mean? A follower is somebody that's going to do everything that is around them, or everything that somebody says, right? So hey, if I'm following you, then I'm going to follow everything you tell me to the T, right? You kind of have no choice because you want to fill it out for yourself. You want to see what's working and what's not working. Is this something that you want to stay in? Is this the field that you want to be in? So on and so forth. Cool. But when you are dang, I had a freaking brain fart. Oh, this is so good. Dang, why am I? Oh my goodness, this is crazy. But yes, you want to be able to. I'm gonna have to probably create another episode for the other part. But you want to be able to do the work. You want to be able to what I said. I'm him. Um, dang, I was about to get saucy, man. Dang. That's another one of my things, right? I It's challenging sometimes because I know it's not even that I know a lot. It's more so that I have a hard time remembering. right? So I do my best to get it out while I can before I forget, because many times I will forget. Dang, I was saucy just now. I'm mad. I'm so mad. It's like, it's cool, right? Nonetheless, we have to lock in, right? We have to be able to do the work. We have to be able to apply the information, because if we don't, then it's just going to be useless, right? And I was stating that you want to give the information if you're not able to do it, but it's also important that you do it. Um, Dang. Oh, I wish I could just like record it. I mean, look at the recording real quick and then go back. But it's alright. Um, but yeah, so um, the focus is studying the craft, but don't just stay studying, but be a doer, right? You want to be able to execute. You want to be able to, when you execute, right? When you apply the consistency, you can't be consistent if you don't do. Or you could be consistent at not doing. So yeah, you could really be consistent at not doing. So you want to develop a momentum where you are being consistent of doing. And when you are being consistent of doing, it leads to results. It leads to traction. It leads to being able to track it. If I don't do consistently and frequently, then there's nothing to track at all. Completely not. But there's nothing to track. So that is very, 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 very critical. You know, especially when you want to create a whole business plan, right, for your business, or you want to create a just something structured for your life. If you're not able to get any results, that's another thing. Oh man, like, man, oh man. Oh, this has been something. The results part. The results part is heavy for me because I don't have trackable results. I'm just gonna be 100. Like, can I be real with you guys? There's some things, but like, it's so many things that I've done that is not shown on Instagram or social media. There's so many things that I've done or so many people I've impacted that the highlights are not shown. None of these things are tracked. And that is so critical. Like, man, dang, that hit home, man. Not only do you want the data to be tracked to be able to be better and get the results, but you also want your results to be trackable. Man, why am I hitting home so much, man? Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I'm just being, I'm just sharing my perspective matters, right? I'm just sharing my perspective because, yeah, this is, 2024 is, I don't want to say, oh, this is my year. Nah, nah. 2024, every year is your year, right? I need you to know that. Let's kill the noise of new year, new me, and let's focus on new year, better me, right? In some cases, some of us need to be new year and continuing to be me. Oh, that got to be a podcast episode right there. Because what happens is if we focus so much on changing every year, new me, what are we building on? We're building on shaky ground if we're new every year. You develop, right? You don't have to be just a new person every year. You can develop to be greater. Or the challenge is to stay who you are. Some people is new year, same me. Because you need to stay you. And oftentimes we are so inspired by so many other people that we end up sabotaging our character and who we are because we're so locked in with someone else. when the person that you need to be locked in with is you. So these are some things that I want to give you guys as far as some tips and tricks and everything, and just being honest and open, because let's do it. Like, I want growth, man. I want growth in myself, but I can't be doing this by myself. But then again, I realized this last year that you might just have to grow by yourself. Like, oh man, we get so caught up in wanting to help others that we forget that the others that we gotta help is ourselves. The them, you're included in. The us, you is in us, right? So you need to lock in with yourself. If you focus on you and who you are as a person, develop as a person, what happens is you're going to automatically be able to pour out everything that's happening in your life. Is just going to ooze in other people's in other people, as long as they are in proximity of you. There's some people that know of you but don't have proximity. Ooh, 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 which means they can't benefit. So when you are overflowing, right? For an example, if I have a cup and I'm pouring water and it fills up to the top and then it overflows, right? I get wet, but whoever else is around me has the potential of getting wet as well. If you're not around me, you'll never get wet. So if I'm filling my cup up with some great things, some blessings, some personal development, and I'm growing, that growth is going to ooze out, is going to overflow out, is going to spill out on someone else that's in proximity. That's why it's important to tap in with some people. There's some people that we neglected in 2023. There's some people we overlooked. There's some people we doubted. But trust and believe, sweetheart, 2024 is going to be a different year. People are going to be moving in silence, right? I believe they're gonna be some silent snipers for sure. They got that silencer on that AK and they ready to do 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 do. They and they ain't gonna miss. They ain't not gonna miss. So I advise you guys, right? This is the year of the Kobe, which means absolute focus, absolute consistency, and absolute studying the craft. Study, I cannot say it enough. Study the craft, family. It is so important because that's what's going to lead you to the success you want. That's going to lead you to the growth you want. That's going to lead you to the changes that you need. Study it. Don't half it. Don't go half. Nah, you not no sweet and low, no half and half sugar. Nah, you gotta go all in, right? Jim Rohn said it best. You gotta give. You gotta. What is that? You have to give. What is it? In everything you do, you have to give everything you got. In everything you do, you have to give everything you got. So, I challenge you guys, the ones that are listening to this podcast, my YPM supporters, my YPM subscribers, to give it your all in everything. Conversation, approaches to people, your business, learning the craft, performing the craft, growing in the craft, in the industry, being able to adapt. I challenge you. Give it everything you got. If you are a person that gotta mop the floor, cleaning your house, boom, give it everything you got. Don't, all right, I'm gonna make up my bed today and don't do it. Nah, every single day. How can I be consistent with one thing in my life? And let me just keep doing that. So maybe it's making your bed. Maybe the first thing you do, wake up and make the bed. Maybe the first thing you do, wake up and pray. I'm going to be honest and tell you that, hey, my morning routine has to deal with prayer, has to deal with listening to, listen to sermons or listening to podcasts. But I don't always do the prayer. I'm just going to be 100. Like, I've That's one of the things that's been inconsistent. I'll pray throughout the day, but it being the first thing that I do, it was an inconsistency. Sometimes I'll pray obviously later, not obviously, but sometimes I'll pray later or I'll pray the next day. I probably forgot to, I always pray for my food when I eat, but I don't always pray for the day. That's so critical. How you start your day determines the rest of it. So start your day off properly, family. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tapping in with the podcast. Your perspective matters. Let's get it. This is a personal growth podcast. If you have not subscribed, then I need you to click the link below. Well, actually, I'm going to put it up top. You click it up top, right? Click that link. Subscribe now because we got some fire for this year. Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. New Year, better you. New Year, same you. New Year, elevated you. Ain't no New Year, new me. Forget all of that. But for somebody, it might just have to be New Year, new me. If you got to change your ways, then my brother, my sister, gotta do what you gotta do. Let's get uncomfortable, man. Because uncomfortability breeds growth. See you guys on the next episode. Your perspective matters. We out.